Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, How to Get More Listings and Give Yourself a Raise.
Sorry, Julie, I was reading.
That's okay. We're excited you're
here. Reading a comment here about somebody, Gary, saying FSBOs are selling in a matter of days and are writing no realtors, please, on their yard signs. Okay. Nice. I'm glad you're here, Gary. We're going to help you. All right, go on, Julie. Sorry.
That's okay. To get the most from today's webinar, we want you to take really good notes. And we want you to text your questions using that Q&A panel there. We'll get to as many as we can at the end. So stick around. After the webinar, we're going to be taking questions for about 30 minutes and coaching. If you want to reach us at any time after today's webinar, you can reach us on all social media channels at Darryl Speaks. Darryl is the author of 3 books, all published by McGraw-Hill Publishers. That first one you see there, How to Become a Power Agent in Real Estate, is actually the #1 selling book to realtors on Amazon. Darryl was named by Risk Media Magazine as one of the top real estate newsmakers for 2021 in the Big Hearted and Brave category. He's also the recipient of the coveted CSP designation, which is only given to less than 2% of speakers worldwide. On that note, Mr. Funny Face over there, well, take it away.
It sounded like you tripped over your eye tooth. You couldn't see what you were saying. All right. So welcome, everybody. Welcome. Good afternoon. Good morning, wherever you are in the world. Very excited that you're here. We do have a lot to cover, and I want to just go over a little bit of upfront logistics stuff. So just give me a couple of minutes to do that. I always cover, because there's some people on this webinar that this is your first time and you want to know, is this a sales pitch? It's not. But I do want to be clear with you. These Wednesday webinars that we do every Wednesday is for our power agents. So we have power agents on the call, and then there's some of you that we consider guests, and we're really glad that the guests are here, and you're going to get a tremendous amount of value. The reason why I'm sharing that up front, though, is because from time to time, I will be having like a sidebar conversation with power agents, pointing something out about the website or where they can find something. So I just want you to understand that I'll be doing that. If you're a guest, I'll just cover real upfront with you what a power agent is so you can get that question out of your mind. It's just one slide I'm going to show you. Our power agent is our coaching program that's valued at $197. We kept the price at $47 a month because of the pandemic. But if you're a guest, you have an opportunity where you can actually get full access for $5 for the first 30 days. So you can see if it's something that's going to help you. You get complete access. The website's incredible. Over 500 forms and flyers and checklists, and you get bonuses today. And the best part is there's no contract. You can cancel anytime. So you can actually cancel during the $5 trial if you want, or anytime after that. So with that said, I do want to talk to the power agents for a second. So power agents, pay attention. I have an announcement I want to just share with you. As you know, power agents, when you log into the portal, the Power Program website, there's one place when you go to negotiating offers, because as you know, this site is alphabetical. So go down to the end, you'll see negotiating. In there, we added something that I'm really proud that Julie and Gail in the office here put together for you, which is a spreadsheet. And this is a template that you can customize, but it's a template on dealing with multiple offer situations. So when you have a homeowner who's trying to decide between all these offers, which is going to be the best one for them, we've created that for you. So now I will tell you, power agents, not only is this a powerful tool to use with your homeowners when you're the listing agent, you got multiple offers, but even if you don't have a listing now, you could use this in a listing appointment to show a homeowner, here's how you field when they hire you as their agent, how you field all the different offers, which, by the way, I'm going to this is a good point that somebody brought out in the beginning of this webinar. It's like FSBOs feel like they don't need us because it's such a hot market. You know what? One of the problems that homeowners don't realize is selling the house, finding the buyer is only part of the process. And for sell by owners, they only see that first part, which is getting an offer. There's so much more that goes involved. So if you've got multiple offer situation as a homeowner, how do you deal with it? And that's part of where we earn our fee as well. We earn our fee, gang, not just in bringing buyers to the house, not advertising and marketing it, but bringing it from listing to contract to closing. There's so much more that we do, and homeowners don't realize that, and that's part of the conversation. So we're going to get into that now, and I do want to address this thing because we are talking about commissions. Sometimes people get weirded out about that. So I just want to be clear with you because there's a lot of people that that confuse real estate professionals about it. We can talk numbers. We can talk 5 or 7 or the concept about antitrust is if we were, let's say NAR was going to have a convention, a meeting, and in that meeting, NAR says, all right, let's talk about what we should collectively charge civilians when it comes to commission. That would be against antitrust. But in a training session like this, if I use an example of 5% or 10% or whatever, it's okay because we're not collectively trying to come up with an agreed amount. So just cover that. Okay, next thing I want to say. You know, what's really valuable about this concept today is that if you think about on just the $200, and I know some of your list prices or sales prices are a lot higher than 200, but just picking that number, if you, for every 0.5% that you can increase your commission, that's a $10,000 raise. So that's part of why we say, hey, let's talk about how to get more listings and how to give yourself a raise because that's really powerful. The other thing I want to say is a warning. You won't be able to implement everything that I'm going to give you today because in this 1 hour, I'm going to fire hose and give you just a lot of content. It's kind of like when we can go back to restaurants again or feel comfortable going about. I don't know if buffets will survive the pandemic, to be honest with you, but if you all remember what it was like going to a buffet, you know, you don't have to eat everything that's at the buffet. That would just be kind of disgusting in some respects, but you may try a little bit of everything. And, you know, when you go back for a second, you only go for what you like. So it's the same thing here. You do not have to eat everything that I'm going to give you. The other thing is consider what we're doing in our business, like planting seeds. You know, every month and every week, Power Agents, when we do these training sessions, if you just improve today a little bit over what you did the last week and the week before that, like every week, just trying to implement a little something to improve your business. That's how you develop a crop of success, of a successful real estate business. Gang, there's no overnight success. It's a process that takes time and you need to be patient with yourself, okay? Now, let's get into the concepts. I'm going to first teach you concepts about commissions, and then I'm going to give you some stuff about the listing appointment. And here's the first concept that I want to teach you is getting really good at asking for higher commissions and getting the commission that you want to deserve is you've got to have more leads than you can possibly handle. When you don't have a lot of business, that's when you feel desperate and you're willing to take any listing at any amount at any price. So part of what you want to do, gang, is listen to me. This is very important. How you get better at asking and getting higher commissions is having confidence. If you don't have confidence in your business and what you do, it's going to bleed out. Listen, they can smell insecurity. They can feel insecurity. They might not even put their finger on it. You ever hear somebody say, I don't know what it is about that person, but it just something seems off. That is, people are picking up when you're insecure about yourself and your business. That's going to be really is a big part of why getting higher commissions is a problem. So let me give you some suggestions, which, by the way, we found this this lead simple. This was a chart that Julie shared with me about the process of a prospect, that you don't always get business right out the gate the first time you see somebody. It's about going back to planting the seeds and follow-up. Every sales industry, not just real estate, it's about follow-up and follow-up. It's planting seeds, follow-up, plant some more seeds, follow. You know, go sticking with that farming analogy is when you plant a seed, you got to water it, you've got to fertilize it, you've got to cultivate it, you got to nurture it, you got to take care of it. And that, gang, is prospecting. So the more seeds you plant and the more you work it, the better it's going to produce for you. Same thing. So that's what this chart is essentially saying, is that you're not going to get your business the first time. You got to keep doing follow-up. Power Agents, I want to talk to you for a second. When you go to the webinars on demand, which is all the way at the bottom of the classroom page, again, it's alphabetical. You go to webinars on demand. You're going to say, I'm going to point out, this is a screenshot I just took a few days ago. There is a webinar I did for you guys, March 31, your 12-month marketing calendar. These are all about how to generate more business so you don't feel so desperate. That's the point here, gang. How to turn leads into listings. We did a special one just on the Red X for you. There was, when we interviewed Catherine Rain, incredible, inspiring, the #1 agent in the whole state of Florida for Keller Williams. Actually, she just got the report. She's actually #9 in the entire country, and she's a power agent. And we did an interview with her, very inspiring. If you didn't see that, you got to watch that interview. Becoming a Listing Machine also did that one. And the last one is Zillow, about online leads. So power agents, what I want to tell you is all of these training sessions, each one that's circled there, is designed and talking about prospecting on how to generate leads. We're focusing on the commission today, but I just have to give you that little extra tip. Here's something else too. I really love this one. This chart that we put together is just to give you some ideas. Like every day, here's a bunch of ideas on how you can shake the trees and generate listing appointments. If you did 2 or 3 of these items each and every day, you got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, every day you do a little bit of something. That's, again, it's planting seeds. And you got to be patient. When a farmer plants the seeds, he doesn't go to bed and then wake up the next morning and say, hey, how come I don't have a full acreage of crop grown? It takes time. You have to be patient, but you got to be consistent, okay? All right, so that's #1 is have more business than you can possibly handle. Don't stop prospecting. #2 is you got to master the listing appointment. Let me tell you why master the listing appointment is important when it comes to commission. The commission conversation will usually happen at the end of the listing appointment, usually. Sometimes they ask you on the telephone. We'll talk about that later. But usually it happens at the end. Your commission conversation actually happens the moment you ring the doorbell. Everything that you do during that appointment justifies that final conversation about hiring you at this fee. So let me share with you some idea. We're not going to go over the whole listing appointment because I only got an hour and I have so much to give you. Power agents, there was a webinar that goes through just this one topic right here. But let me give everybody an overview of the listing appointment. You know, if you're not a power agent, here's the philosophy that we have with our students. Power agents don't sell people. We serve people. We don't close people. We coach people. We're not about hard selling and technique. And this is why this slide that you see here says real, because we want power agents to be authentic, to talk from their heart, not their head. So here's the structure of the appointment for you to show up. For you to show up. See, I don't want you to be something you're not. I want you to be who you are and to be real and authentic and be committed to serving and not selling people. Let me tell you something. If you're good at really serving people and you're committed to helping them get to their next level in their life when you're on a listing appointment, and you have that conviction that they're going to respond to that. They're going to trust you. People, part of why they have a commission issue is because they don't respect us, because we think we're just salespeople who just give a damn about taking a fee out of their pocket. That conversation has to change. That perception a homeowner has of you has to change. And so here's the structure of the listing appointment. R stands for you want to be real, authentic. You build that rapport, right? People work with people they like. So make sure you focus and be present on connecting with them on a human level, that they really like you. Once you feel that they like you, then you want to engage them in this conversation. How do you engage somebody? Is you ask questions. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should communicate in that proportion. Listen twice the amount of speaking that you do. The listing happens in the listening. Now, once you have gotten them engaged with you, you've asked the questions, you're building their rapport, then you're going to give them some advice. This is when we hear listing appointment, listing presentation, which we don't call it that, we call it the listing conversation here at Power Headquarters. But when you're having that listing conversation with them, this is that part right there. This is where you might give them the advice on how you can help them get to the next level from point A to point B. How do you do that through your MLS, your yard signs, your lockbox, the virtual showings, all of that stuff? This is where you explain it. And then, of course, you list and leave and get the heck out of there before they change their mind. Just a little joke. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the appointment later on, but I'm just giving you the concepts. The next thing is when you are on the listing appointment, especially with a for sale by owner, you have to validate the industry first. Then you validate yourself. See, the problem with a for sale by owner is the reason why listen, look at this, a very powerful concept what I'm sharing with you right now. A FSBO is a FSBO because they haven't bought into realtor. They haven't bought into our industry. See, if I'll do this analogy later about when we need professionals in our life, but the problem is a FSBO, you should not go on a listing appointment, focus on trying to validate you, sell you, if they don't even believe in realtor. So I'm going to show you a little bit on how to validate realtor. And I'm going to do it throughout this whole webinar, actually. But here's a little piece of it, too. Part of getting the highest possible price that justifies what the homeowner wants to net plus our commission. How you get the highest possible price is that you want as many buyers interested in that property. Remember, we talked about the multiple offers. You know, one of the advantages that homeowner has of working with an agent is that we have an organized system on how we deal with multiple offers. Mr. and Mrs. Hana, which is better, to have one buyer wanting to have your house or to have 10? 10 is better. You want to know why? See, when you have one buyer who wants your house, when you're negotiating with them, the buyer is the one in control. The buyer is the one in control of that negotiation. Why? Because they have no competition. Now, when you are a homeowner and you have 10 offers, you are in control. Why? Because you have all these people fighting to get your house. Only one of them is going to win. My job, and one of the reasons, even in a hot market like this, why most for sale by owners wind up hiring an agent is because 10 offers is better than one. And that's one of the things that we do. And the reason why we're able to do that and get that many buyers is through exposure. Meaning that every buyer in your price range, they need to know your house is for sale. And how do you give something the most exposure is marketing tools. The more tools you have, the more exposure the property gets, which means more buyers are wanting your property, which drives the price. This is why even in this hottest market that we have, over 90% of homeowners wind up listing with an agent because they actually net more money than doing it on their own. See, let's look at that whole marketing tool, Mr. and Miss Hana. You as a homeowner, when you think about what you have is limited really marketing. You have some advertising, you've got yard sign, and you say that you're putting it onto one of these online services, but it's still limited. One of the values of hiring a realtor, which, by the way, Mr. and Miss Hana, I'm not saying you should listen to me. As a matter of fact, if you don't like me or trust me, you shouldn't listen to me, but you need to find an agent that you like and trust. They need to be a realtor because what we do as real estate professionals is we have so much more marketing at our hands. And because we have so much more marketing tools, we're able to drive the price because we have buyers fighting for your property. This is why this is so important. This is marketing 101, Mr. and Mrs. Hana. See, I look at finding a buyer like fishing. When you're a homeowner trying to sell it yourself, and when you put a for sale sign on your front lawn, that's like a fishing line. So every marketing tool that you use is like a fishing line. You put an ad out in the local papers, the penny savers or something. You put it at the grocery store. That's another fishing line. So as a for sale by owner, you've got a bunch of fishing lines trying to catch that fish. Well, at Power Realty, we don't use fishing lines. Imagine a big fishing trawler going out into the ocean, throwing out a big net out there and bringing all these fish on board. See, that's the kind of marketing that we do. We have a fishing trawler with a fishing net, and it's bringing all these buyers. Now, when you get all these buyers on board, you don't just start eating the fish right then and there. You got to pick the best of the best. You got to make sure the quality is good. And then once you pick the best quality fish, then you've got to prep the fish. You've got to scale it. You got to cut it, gut it. You got to season it. Then you got to cook it. And then when you cook it, you got to cook. The timing is important. You can overcook or undercook a fish. Just like going to contract with a buyer. Time is important. You got to make sure that docs are ordered, the mortgage application, home inspection, all those things are done in an orderly fashion. So then we can sit down at the dining room table, or in your case, the closing table. Mr. and Mrs. Hana, if selling a house was as simple as throwing a line out in the lake, you wouldn't have to be licensed by the state to help other people do this. So there's got to be more to this process. See, this is part of what you've got to do, gang, when you're talking to a homeowner. By the way, some of my power agents, you've heard me do the fishing, and that's just one of my favorite analogies. What I want you to do when you hear me do something that you might have heard before, I want you to listen for the nuance and see and ask yourself, are you delivering it as well as I'm delivering it with you right now? How can you improve? How can you get better at it? You know, here's the other thing we got to convey to our homeowner. Like I said, we have to validate realtor. Because when you think about it, if you were sick, who would you call? You call a doctor, right? You don't medicate yourself. And if you were going to get sued, who would you call? You call a lawyer. You're not going to go to court, represent yourself. You know, when it comes time to doing your taxes, we just had to file the taxes. If you're making more than just minimum wage, you probably have a little complicated tax. You have an accountant do it for you. In all these areas, Mr. and Mrs. Hunter, you hire a professional. And they have something all in common, these folks. They all have to be licensed to help other people through the process of that profession. At some level, they need to be licensed, just like in the real estate profession. See, this is not as easy as people think. On the surface, they think it's just bringing a buyer, doing an open house, running there. And man, there's so much more to this process. See, I like to equate it to like playing Monopoly. See, look at this board over here at the top. This is where most homeowners, they think this is what it means to sell a house. You figure out the price, you take some photos, then you launch the listing online, and that's it. There's a whole other process, like the whole fishing thing. We've got to make sure that we know how to negotiate, we pre-qualify, we inspect, we got to bring the appraiser, the mortgage. My job is to bring you from start to finish through the whole process of selling your property. Power agents, I want to talk to you for a second. One of the recent webinars I just did, you'll see it says March 24 there, because we sort the power agents, the webinars, because we do these every Wednesday for you. The website is loaded with training material because each one is over an hour. We're going to have, by the way, we're going to have questions like Julie said, so stay after the hour if you want to ask me a question. Anyway, so we sort the webinars by date order. And so that way it's easier to find it. March 24th, I did a whole webinar just on the listing appointment. So I'm just pointing that out to you. The next thing is you have to believe whatever seller can sell for is less than what you can sell for. This is very important. If you don't have confidence that the homeowner is going to net more money by paying you a commission, then you should not be on a listing appointment, because then you'd be lying to them. If you were to go on a listing appointment, if you believe a homeowner can sell without you, you should stay away from listings. Now, I'm going to show you in a moment why homeowners actually do net more money after they pay a full commission. I'm going to show you that later. The next thing is you must believe you're worth what you charge. Remember what I said about confidence? I'm going back to that. This is very important. You've got to have confidence and belief. Now, I want to talk to the agents right now that you're lacking some confidence because you look at somebody like Catherine, like you look at some agents, top agents making six figures, and you look at them and you say, oh, I'm not that. If I were a homeowner, I would hire them. I wouldn't even, everything I know about me, I wouldn't hire me. That's not good. I want you to find something about you that you love, that you are passionate about, that you believe you are unique, that you bring to the table that no other agent can. You've got to find that belief in you. Because if you don't have that belief in you, then it's hard for them to believe in you. One of the things I suggest you do is you sit down and you write out every benefit, every good characteristic that you have, that you bring to the table for your seller. Sit down and write this out. Sit down and write out a list as to what do you bring to the table? Why are you valuable? This will help you. This will help you talk from your heart with passion and conviction and belief. You know, I did this. Well, actually, for the power agents, we created the similar concept. Oh, sorry. It's 184 reasons that you earn your commission. 184 things you do to earn a commission. We actually created it as a guide. So power agents, you can put your logo at the bottom. You put your name on it. You can use it as a drop-off piece, a mailing piece. But I tell power agents, you know, some of you that need the confidence, you should just read the darn thing. You should just read it and say, because after you read this, you'll be like, geez, I'm going to raise my fee. I'm worth so much more than what I've been charging. Okay. So there you go. All right. Power agents, where you can find that 184 things, you go to the listing appointment. And when you go to the listing appointment tab, there's dozens, if not tens of dozens, probably hundreds of items, but you're going to see the 184 things. It's the name of it because it's alphabetical. eGuide -homeowners 184. By the way, power agents, I got to tell you something, because we have a lot of new power agents, and some of them don't know this. You see that little thing that says Espanol? We've started to convert everything that you would use to civilians that you would give to a buyer or give to a seller And we've got a Spanish version too for you guys. So for people that need that or care about that, we're doing that. Okay. So next concept, there's always going to be somebody who's going to charge less than you. So do not compete with other agents based on commission. You're going to hear that homeowner say, the other broker said they'll do it for less. I'm going to show you how to handle those objections. But you've got to do not compete based on commission. Compete based on your skill and ability, okay? So we'll talk more about that later. Never address commission on the telephone. When you're calling FSBOs expireds, you're talking to people, they're going to listen to me. They're going to want to suck you into the conversation about how much do you charge? How long of a listing do you take? You know why it's called the listing appointment? Because it's called the listing appointment because you have an appointment where you're sitting belly to belly, face to face with the seller, and you have an appointment. You cannot do a listing appointment on the telephone. Commission conversation is in the listing appointment. How long of a length of a listing? That's in the listing appointment. Your job when you're on the telephone with somebody is just to get the appointment so you can have those conversations with them. Don't answer it. Darryl, what do you say when they say, when you're on the phone, say, how much commission do you charge? Well, Mr. and Mrs. Hana, the commission I charge it's flexible. It's actually a marketing tool. It's to help get the property sold. So there's no set standards. Whatever's going to help you get you the most money and get the house sold in the time frame you want. But listen, I think we're rushing that conversation. I only talk about my commission with people who've decided to hire me. And I just met you on the phone, so I don't think we're ready for that. Listen, I just want to come over and see your house and see how I can help you. You're letting complete strangers into the house. You don't know if they can afford the house for free. Well, I'm licensed by the state, and the safest appointment you give, you got nothing to lose and everything to gain and have me come over. So let me just take a look at your house, see what you got, and see how I can help you. Can I come over at 6? Would 7 be better? That's how you handle that. You do not talk commission on the phone. You think like a politician. What do? You ask them a question. Yeah, you're watching the news. You ask a politician a question. They what's that called? They pivot. They change the subject some. So you do the same thing. Okay, how we doing, Jules? We having fun?
We are having fun.
All right. Attract sell is not based on the cost, but based on the benefits that you provide. So I'm going to show you that as well. When the issue is 1%, this is good. This right here. When the issue is 1%, you only need to prove that you're 1% better. See, you don't have to try and sell a homeowner on 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever you charge, right? If a homeowner says, listen, bring me a buyer and I'll pay you a fee of 3%, for example. And if let's say that you want to, I'm giving you extra material. This is not, okay, let me finish. So if they say, bring me a buyer, pay you 3%, and you want 6, you don't have to sell them on 6. You only have to justify the other 3. That's number one. Number two is if you're on a listing appointment and the homeowner says, you want 6 and the other agent's saying, 5, that's a 1%. You don't have to, maybe you just throw in a quarter or a half. Sometimes on a listing appointment, the homeowner just has to feel like they won something, a little bit of something, right? Okay. So there's no law that says you have to negotiate your commission 1% increments. I just said that as well. So I just covered both of those points. This is the real. Now, power agents that have been with me for a while, you know that we here at Power Headquarters, we don't teach you to memorize scripts. The only time we teach you a script is when you're doing the telephone because I'm really good at calling FSBOs and expireds. If you use that dialogue, you should get 3 appointments for every 4 conversations. It's that good. It's that good. But that's the only time that we want you to use memorized dialogue. The rest of it, like when you're on a listing appointment, you talk from your heart, not your head. You can't be going into a listing appointment saying, okay, here's the script. Here's your part. Here's mine. Let's role play it. Doesn't work that way, real life listing appointments. And any trainer that teaches that is because they don't know how else to teach. We teach the secret sauce, which is metaphors and analogies, which, by the way, I've already been doing those. If you notice, I did the fishing pole was one of the metaphors I taught. I think I might have done something else. I can't remember, which, by the way, the fish, that's the power in metaphors and analogy. If you're a new person on this call, like with me, or you're a new power agent, you never heard the fishing pole technique, you probably can get, after this webinar, do the fishing pole technique or the Monopoly board one. You heard it one time. You don't have to memorize script. So we are big with metaphors and analogies. And I'm going to show you some more coming now. So why can't a seller save money selling on their own? Why do they need an agent? Here's why. First of all, the types of buyers they attract are not the same buyers that you attract. You attract different buyers than they do. See, watch this. If, let's say, this is called the Ethan Allen analogy. Watch this. If you were going to go to a store and go to like Ethan Allen to buy a couch, you know before you even go there that you're going to pay top dollar. You know that already. But you also know it's a good quality couch. It's a company you can trust. Why would anybody go buy a couch from eBay? You don't know if you can trust the sellers. It's a used couch. You don't know what it's been used for. My goodness, think about that for a second. Why would anybody buy a used, dirty, stinky couch from eBay? Here's why. Price, to get a good deal. The types of buyers that an eBay seller attracts are the types of people that are looking for a deal, just like a FSBO. Mr. and Mrs. Hana, any buyer that walks into my office, they know they're paying top dollar. Why? Because as a real estate professional, every house that I show them, every house that is listed, there's a commission into the price. And the buyers know this. But the buyers don't care about that. The buyers care about getting a good home from a company they can trust. In other words, I attract the Ethan Allen buyers of real estate where you're attracting eBay buyers. They're different quality buyers. The types of buyers that you attract as a homeowner are the type, because it takes a lot of work to go online and to search and to save and to call and to research and that's like somebody who goes through that. There's nothing wrong with using coupons. I love coupons, but the person that's trying to save the coupons is they're more committed to the saving than they are to the quality. Mr. and Mrs. Hana, it's very interesting. And by the way, gang, you can do this in real time. I'm going to get out a role play and I'm going to talk to you. I want you to do this after this call. I want you to go to kbb.com. That's kellybluebook.com. And I want you to type in your car because you know your car. One of the cars I own is a Yukon Denali, a 2016. So that's why we have it out on the screen. When you punch that in, you type in your miles, your year, your make, and all that stuff. And here's what you're going to find. The same thing that I found. When I typed it in, you'll see there's a little tab that says, if I want to buy this Yukon 2016 from a dealer, do you see where it says dealer? It's in blue there on the thing. It's going to cost between $40,000 to $45,000. Now, if I buy the same car, but I do it privately, it's $38,000 to $43,000. It is basically a 5% discount for the exact same car when I'm buying it privately as opposed to buying it from a dealer. Why? Why is it the same thing? And by the way, every car, I don't care what car you punch in, that's what you're going to find. The car from the person who owns the car is always less than the dealer. Why? Because with a dealer, there's a business backing the sale. The buyers who will go to a dealership are more committed to the quality and to the accountability to a business. They're willing to spend a few dollars more for that peace of mind that you don't get when you're buying directly from a person. It's the same thing in real estate. The homeowner cannot sell the house at the realtor price. Just like a person who owns a car can't sell the car at a dealership price. It doesn't happen. So here's what happens now, Mr. and Mrs. Hana. A buyer, when they say, I'm going to use $100,000 as the example because it's easy to do the math in the role play here that I'm trying to teach you. So if a buyer sees a house for $100,000, that's a FSBO. The buyer knows the reason why the FSBO is why? Come on, to save the commission. That's the only reason why a FSBO is a FSBO. The buyer knows this. Well, if I'm a buyer and I don't want to pay a realtor, if I'm an eBay buyer, I'm looking for a deal, I ain't going to pay the seller a commission. Otherwise, I go work with an agent. Therefore, as a FSBO buyer, I'm going to take 6% off the top. That 6% would net the homeowner exactly what the homeowner would have netted if they did list. I'm looking for a deal. So maybe I'm going to take another 3% or 4% off that number. So then you're going to get offers maybe 10%. So this is one of the examples. Now, watch this. Gang, I do know in this hot market that may not always be the case, depending on what city you're in. Some buyers, they're willing to pay a FSBO the top dollar, but it's not. But we'll talk about that, how to deal with your market where you got FSBO buyers that are willing to pay any price. So we'll talk about that in a second. But for the most part, the types of buyers that a FSBO tracks are looking for a bargain. Here's the second thing. There's published proof that FSBOs lose money. Published proof. I'm going to show you. Now, I'm going to show you some articles. These are markets when the market was as hot as it is now. Very hot. Hot market. Watch this. This is for salebyowner.com. Now, some of you, my parents, you've seen me do this, but I love this. This guy, the guy that created for salebyowner.com, this is the website, and it's saying, listen, if you're going to sell your house, you should list with me as FSBO.com because you can save, like if your house is $2 million, you'll save $105,000 in commission. Why would you pay that to an agent? But watch this. That guy, that CEO, Colby Sembrado, he tried to sell his condominium in New York City. 6 months, he couldn't sell the thing. So what did he do? Watch this. Colby Sembrado, the guy that created that website I just showed you, he hired a real estate agent. He got multiple offers. This was published in the Wall Street Journal. And the guy paid a commission of $129,000. He paid 6% on $2.15 million. Let me see the next slide. Do you see it? This is his website. He said, why would you pay $105,000 on 2.1? But meanwhile, he sold his condo for 2.1 and he paid $129,000. He paid more money than what he's telling. But if you do the math, I don't have time to teach you this, but he sold it for $150,000. Do you see it on the article? He sold it for $150,000 more than his FSBO price. So if you take 150 minus 129, this guy, Colby Sembrado, who's telling homeowners, don't list with me, don't go to a real. He lists with a realtor. He pays $130,000, but he netted more money in his pocket. Do you see this? But wait, there's more. This byowner.com, this guy, same thing. Byowner.com. He says, don't work with a realtor, which, by the way, here's funny. He's got realtor.com listed on his site. So the Byowner the guy is saying, realtors, they got value. We use them. But here, why don't you do it yourself and you'll save money? Okay. The CEO of byowner.com, he hires a realtor in Clearwater, Florida. His name is Bonatti. He lists for $3.78 million. He listed with a Coldwell Banker agent. So let me tell you something. Here's the point that I'm trying to make. Oh, here's one more. Sorry, wait. I said published proof. Let me finish this. Sorry. Published proof in USA Today came up with this article when they looked at homes that were sold by FSBOs and the neighbors who listed with a realtor, right? I'm going to zoom in on this graph. Power Agents, you get the original article. You can read the whole thing. So this is just a screenshot. Power Agents, you get the whole article transcribed so you can read it. It's very fascinating. But we're just going to show the chart right now. What they found is FSBOs that sold their own home in these markets that they checked. This goes back a few years ago, but it was a hot seller's market like this one. Average sales price 137, but the realtors, the neighbors who listed with a realtor, the average sales price 175. Now, if you do the math, that means we sell houses for 21.49% higher than the for sale by owner in a hot. So here's the point that I'm trying to make. Published proof that FSBOs in every scenario, they do not save money. Actually, they wind up losing money. Okay. But wait, there's more. Third-party negotiating. One of the things that we do is we help a homeowner in negotiating the sale. This is Charlie Sheen. There's who used to be on 2.5, right? There's a show business rule of thumb. It's the talent never talks to the money. So the talent has an agent. The agent negotiates with the producer, and the agent can be nasty if they need to. They do whatever, and it doesn't hurt the deal. Charlie Sheen, because he bypassed the agent, because he was negotiating directly with the producer, and he was online, and he was on news, and he was bad-mouthing the show, they replaced him with Ashton Kutcher. The talent should never talk to the money. Mr. and Mrs. Hana, you as a homeowner should never talk directly to the money, which is the buyer, because you may say something or do something that's wrong, and it's going to cost you a sale. Even an attorney who is getting sued, they wouldn't represent themselves because they know attorneys who represent themselves has a fool for a client. Listen, if you look at the just some high names that we've all known, like Rudy Giuliani or Eric, who's the other guy? Michael Cohen. These very visible, right? I'm not talking politics. Here's two attorneys when they were getting attacked What did they do? Did they represent themselves? They could have. No, they hired their own attorneys. No attorney ever represents himself. No FSBO should represent themselves. They need that attorney. They need that me to represent them. Here's part of the reason why. There's an expression that when you're in the picture, you can't see the frame. As a for sale by owner, as a homeowner, you can't always see the things that are important to you because you're too emotionally attached to it. Let me show you what I mean. This is an example of 9 dots. If I asked you to take your pen and put it on the screen right now, and don't pick your pen off the screen, and I tell you to connect all the dots with 4 straight lines. Like if you do that just visually in your head, you'll notice there's probably a dot missing that you didn't connect. And the reason why is because you try to stay within a box, which I didn't say to stay within a box. I said 4 straight lines. In order to actually do that effectively, you've got to go outside of the box. And Mr. and Mrs. Hanahana, as your client, as your agent representing you, my job is to see outside of the box things that you may not see. This is why you have to be licensed in real estate to help other people do this. This is why attorneys don't represent themselves. This is why you need to hire an agent. Third party negotiate. I could be with a buyer and negotiate a higher selling price for you. We have more research. I already went through this with you, gang, about the fishing pole analogy, that we have more marketing tools than a homeowner does as a for sale by owner. But also, there's more to the process of selling a house. Broadway is open again. I'm so excited. I got tickets for Hamilton. I didn't tell you this, Julie. I'm going to see Hamilton in October. New York is opening up again.
Did you get me one?
But anyway, what's that?
I said, did you get me one?
You're in Florida. I forgot to ask you. I'm taking April. April and I are going. It's date night. Anyway, so Broadway show, any show, it doesn't have to be Broadway. This picture you see here, there's all these people involved in putting the show together, right? You got the lighting department, set design, costume design, makeup, choreography. Every department, there's somebody in charge of that department, and that person talks to one person every day in rehearsal. Who is it? The director. The director's the glue that keeps the show together. Mr. and Mrs. Hanahana, real estate transaction, you have the exact same thing. You've got you and the buyers, then you've got the appraiser, you got the engineer, you said you've got an attorney, that's why you don't need an agent. Let's say the buyers, they've got an attorney, so nobody needs the agent, right? Okay. Then you got the title company, you got the home inspector, and you got the bank rep. Now, here's what's really interesting, Mr. and Mrs. Hanahana. You as the homeowner would only talk, as a FSBO, would only talk to the buyers and to your attorney. You would never talk to the buyer's attorney. You would never talk to the home inspector. You never talk to the bank, right? Your attorney that you said is going to do everything for you, they only talk to the other attorney to you. They don't talk to the buyers. They don't talk to the appraiser. They don't talk to the engineer. You got all these people not talking to one another. And any one of them has the power to kill the transaction. There's only one person that everybody talks to in a real estate transaction. That's me, the real estate agent. You trying to sell a house as a for sale by owner is like trying to put a Broadway show together without a director is going to bomb. Listen, if selling a house is as simple as a buyer, you wouldn't have to be licensed. I said that before. I'll say it again. My job as the director is to see the problem before it's a problem that'll kill the deal, to keep the deal together. This is why so many homeowners list with an agent. By the way, gang, you see, this is, here's the message I tell you is for you to validate your commission, you have to validate realtor. That's the secret here. When you get a homeowner to see, Ming, I got to hire an agent. I can't do this by myself. Now you can talk commission. Now they'll see the value.
Darryl.
Oh, am I back? I saw that I got lost.
Yep.
Am I back?
Yep. Lost you for a minute.
Okay. Lost me for a minute. I saw that. I'm back, gang. Just keeping it interesting.
Now you found.
We're just keeping it interesting. Hey, listen, by the way, I got to say something in case the internet blows up, because I think we're blowing up the internet. Y'all, the guests, do you see that? If we lose connection, do you see that website at the bottom, trial? That's where you can go there. You'll get a copy of all the slides if you become Power $5. But let's finish this, okay? So you go to the Classroom Power Agents, and when you go to objection handling, a lot of what I just showed you, Russell just said because I'm yelling. Am I yelling, Julie?
You're passionate. It's different.
Should I lower the volume?
No, you're good. You're just very passionate. I love it.
I'm very passionate today.
Everybody's loving it.
Whoever said, what was his name? Tell him that
Russell.
I'm going to come get him. I'm sorry. I'm being very passionate. I'm sorry. My level's too high. I'll try and calm it down a little bit. But listen, I'm passionate about what I'm telling you. I think homeowners need to notice. They need to know they shouldn't do this on their own. Discount broker. Okay, let's talk about, but the other broker said they'll do it for less. Listen, Mr. and Mrs. Hana, if an agent's going to charge you a flat fee just to get on MLS is just like a tool. The tool of it, let's say you're going to hire a contractor to do work on your house, right? And you take, or let's say you don't do that. Let's say you're not going to hire a contractor. You go to Home Depot, you buy a hammer, $500. Now you come back to the house, you take your $500 hammer, you put it down on the kitchen table. Let me ask you this. Is that hammer going to jump off your table and build you an extension? Of course not, because the hammer is a tool. The tool in of itself does not produce the result. You got to pick up the tool and use it. Now, you take that hammer and you give it to a contractor. You have two contractors you can give it to. One that just started, they're not licensed and bonded. You don't know how good they're going to do with building your extension. You take the same hammer and you give it to another contractor who's been doing it for years. They wrote the book on how to build extensions on a house. They're licensed, they're bonded, they got a crew. You're going to get two different results with the same tool called the hammer. Mr. and Mrs. Hana, as a company, we know how to use the tool called MLS and all the other things I've talked about to get your property sold. This other broker that says they're going to charge you a flat fee just to get on the MLS, you're just buying a hammer, man. Basically, when you're dealing with a discount broker and the homeowner is paying a flat fee, and if any of you are on this call, I'm sorry, but what I would say to a homeowner is dealing with a discount broker is like going to Home Depot, buying the hammer. MLS is just a tool, like a hammer is a tool, and the tool in of itself does not get the job done. It's got to be used, and it's got to be used effectively. Just like if you gave a hammer to two different construction companies or handymen, one just does it part-time and just started. The other one's got a crew, and they've been doing it for years. You're going to get two different results for the same hammer. And that's why you need to hire a contractor, a real estate agent who knows how to use the tool called MLS to get your property sold. Are you still with me, Julie?
I am.
So John Ruskin, who is a philosopher, an attorney, poet, if you look him up, very incredible what this person accomplished in his lifetime. He said, when you pay too much, you lose a little money. That's all. But when you pay too little, sometimes you lose everything because the thing you bought was incapable of doing the thing it was bought to do. That's a powerful distinction. You hire an agent who's charging you a little bit amount of money and they're not doing maybe they can't do the job correctly. And so you lose time, you lose money because they weren't skilled. If you were going to have brain surgery done, open heart surgery, would you shop for the cheapest or would you shop for the best skilled? When it comes to your house, it's the most important value. You should hire an agent based on their skill, not based on they're the cheapest. This is the one place you don't cut money. John Ruskin also said there's hardly anything in the world that someone can't make a little worse and sell a little cheaper. And people who consider price alone are this lawful prey. This is powerful because this goes back to what I said about buyowner.com, for salebyowner.com. These gentlemen, they are looking for the prey of people that are looking for cheap. This is how that business model is. It's for the person who only shops based on price. But them themselves would not even use their own business. Them themselves would hire a real estate agent and pay 6-7% commission. Come on. That's got to be a telltale sign right there. Listen, Wolf and Shepherd, they got this shoe. Nice shoe. This over here, Christian Louboutin. These two shoes, you look at them, they look very nice. The Wolf and Shepherd looks very nice. It looks very similar to the other shoe. What's the difference? Well, with Wolf and Shepherd, you're going to pay $170. The Louboutin, Christian Louboutin, you're going to pay $850. That's a lot more money. But you know what else is different about those two? Is that Wolf shoe will only last you a year. So how much did you pay in a year? $170. You got to buy another shoe. The Christian shoe, that shoe, it's going to last you 10 years. So you know what it's costing you a year? $85. So tell me, which shoe is actually more expensive? The cheaper one. It's the same concept of what Ruskin was saying. Listen, big Kmart, when they have something, they try and sell it at Kmart. And if it's not moving, here's what they do. They put it's on the top of the shelf. Then they'll move it to the bottom of the shelf. Then they'll move the eye level. They do everything possible to try and sell that thing. And if they can't sell, you know what they do? They throw it in a basket, blue light special, because that's the only way they can sell. When an agent is advertising they're the cheapest, it's the only way they can sell their service, because they're not saying that they're the best skilled. You want the best skilled, Mr. and Mrs. Hanahana, not the cheapest. John Ruskin also said the common law business balance, paying a little and getting a lot. It can't be done. You get what you pay for. You've heard that expression a million times. You want some meat, you want some protein, you go to a 5-star restaurant, or you can go to McDonald's or Burger King. You get what you pay for. You know, if you were flying from New York to California, you could either drive it, you take a train, you can take an airplane. Each one is going to cost you a little bit more money than the other one. The car, perhaps the cheapest. You could say in miles and gas. I don't know if that's actually true. But here's the point. You get what you pay for. You pay the top dollar, first class airline thing. You're going to get there faster, more pleasurable experience. You see, I would be concerned, Mr. and Ms. Hana, if an agent is so quick to give away their money, how quick are they going to be to give away your money when it comes to selling your house? And let me tell you, here's what I believe when selling a commission, when they cut their commission up front, it's like an upfront apology. See, if you look at 7%, that's a commission that covers everything. It covers the profit that an agent needs to make, covers the marketing skills, everything else. Now, when they go from 7 to 6, that's not a 1%. If you do the math, that's an actually 14% cut in commission. Now, it could be 6 to 5. It doesn't matter. Same concept. Here, it's a 29%. From 7 to 5 is a 29%, and from 7 to 43. You know what? Well, here's what the cut is coming from. That cut is either coming from their net profit, which is what they use to take care of their family. I don't think an agent's going to take money off of the kitchen table. So where else is that money going to be cut? It's going to come from marketing, advertising, open houses, the things that you need to sell your house for the highest. So it's almost like an upfront apology. They're saying, you know what? I'm not going to do everything that you need me to do, so I'm willing to take less. It's a marketing tool too. Now, this is not true in the hottest cities, but some of your markets, it's not as hot as some others. You know, sometimes if you've got 3 houses that are similar in style, the one that is going to be paying out the highest commission to a selling broker is the one that's going to get the most activity. And that basically says the same thing. Here's something else you may want to do, gang, is write down, create a chart. We create Power Agents. You have this chart where you can customize it, where you show if you're competing with another agent, you'll show the homeowner, here's all the things that I'm doing for the fee that I'm charging. Let's look at what the other agent's charging. And probably what you'll discover, gang, is that they're going to get more value, more benefits by working with you. Time is also money, gang. You should, if there's an agent in your marketplace or brokerage that you keep competing with, I want you to compare what their days on market is and what your days on market are, what you charge and what they charge. And what you may find is that the broker that's charging less is actually costing the homeowner more money in mortgage payments and taxes. Time on market is valuable. And then one-line commissions, and then I'm gonna open up to questions. Bring me a buyer, and I'll pay you a fee. Well, you're paying to have a professional licensed trained agent work against you. See, if a homeowner is willing to pay a selling broker's commission, that broker is actually representing the buyer. They're not representing the homeowner. So would you go to court and pay the attorney who's suing you? Would you pay their fees? Because that's what you're doing here. When you tell an agent, bring me a buyer and I'll pay you, you're paying a licensed trained agent to work against you. That doesn't make any sense at all. Will you cut your commission? Try just saying no. The other agent said they'll take less. If the agent is so quick to give away their money to get your listing, how quick will they be to give your money away just to make a sale happen quick? You got to be careful that if I could do it for the same person, we're going to skip that one right now. The commission is actually a marketing tool. The more you pay, the more shows you get, which means higher sales price to you. If selling a house was as simple as placing an ad in the paper, you wouldn't have to be licensed by the state to help other people do this. I've said these for you guys. I just put that. Listen, what I did there, those last couple of slides, is just to summarize some of my one-liners that to help you guys. Listen, if you're a guest right now, I have a bonus for you. Power agents, stay on the call because we're going to open up to questions right now. But for the guests, we have a special for you. If you are a guest right now, what we're going to do is offer you to become a power agent for only $5. And you're going to get a copy of this recording. There's a whole bunch of bonuses. You get slides. You have complete access to the Power Program website. And you can cancel anytime. I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version of what the Power Program is. And then we're going to open up to questions for you guys. Every part of what we do, gang, is every Monday is we have a coaching call for our power agents. It's not like this webinar where I just teach a topic like we did here. The Monday coaching calls, they go for a couple of hours. They start at 11 o'clock. It's live. You can ask me questions. It's group coaching. And we stay on the phone until everybody's questions get answered. People love these calls. Janet Livingston, shout out to you. I know you're on the call right now. I saw you on the feed. She said she loves the coaching calls every Monday because it's really loaded with content. I get challenged with great questions. It's a lot of fun to do those. We have these webinars. These get recorded so that power agents can watch them slower, because sometimes I yell so they can lower the volume and control it. There's a dedicated Facebook group that is Off the Hook Awesome. There's a lot of great groups out there on Facebook, but what I love about our group, there's no politics, there's no prospecting, it's all brainstorming. It's really high quality stuff. Plus, I use it as a teaching platform. I'll post things from time to time in addition to the other things we have. The website, ladies and gentlemen that are guests on the phone right now on this webinar, we have over 500 forms, flyers, checklists that you can customize and use in your business. This is just a screenshot of the website. When you go to the classroom, which is where all the magic is, we have everything sorted alphabetically based on what trouble you have. So, for example, let's say you're having some trouble in farming and self-promotion, and you click on that, you will find hundreds of promotional pieces that you can use in farming. There's letters, there's postcards, there's dialogue. It is the ultimate. We actually have a favorite little tab that you can tag something a favorite for yourself. In case you say, well, there's so much here. Let me put this into a separate favorite folder. So we added that for you. We use a similar technology like Google does. Like, let's say you type in a search for FSBO. It'll pull everything up that's FSBO related, whether it's dialogue or video training, postcards, an infographic. So here's the gift that we have for everybody that's a guest today. If you want to sign up for this $5, you can actually get a PowerPoint slide deck to do on a listing point, which we talked a little bit about today, along with a recording on how to deliver that listing appointment. You get to keep all this information. You get an e-guide that you give to your buyers and to your sellers on how to deal with a multiple offer situation. You customize it. You put your logo and contact, so that's really valuable. If you're a new agent or experienced agent that needs to reboot your business, we put together a 29-page kickstart guide. Here's what you should do in the next 30 or 60 days for your business, along with our 12 most requested dialogues, calling FSBOs expireds, leaving voicemail for these people, how to set up a business page for those of you that don't have a Facebook business page. So we tell you how to do that, along with a business plan that's actually 43 pages, in my opinion. A lot of my colleagues, they have business pages, business plans. I mean, that's like a one page or a couple of, like, this is 40. Like, this is, I think, the most intense of them all. We have 2021 predictions. A lot of them come true, and there's more to come. So you can use that actually as a freebie to buyers and sellers as well, along with a copy of today's slides, a copy of this webinar, the CRM. If you need a CRM, we have that for you. And that's it, Julie. So if you are not a power agent, I encourage you to become one for the $5 so you can really get to know us. If we're going to open up to questions now. So any questions you have either about the program or about today's topic, I'm going to stay on this webinar now as long as you need me. So Julie, I'll throw it to you now.
All right, awesome. Yvette asks, when calling a FSBO and we get their voicemail and we leave a voicemail message, what do we say when the FSBO calls back?
So the dialogue, Yvette, that we have is actually in the Power Program website. I'll show you that, but I'll demonstrate it really quick. It's hi, I'm calling about your house for sale. I have some important. Hi, this is Darryl Davis from Power Realty. I understand you're selling your house. And I have some important information about that. As a matter of fact, I could even possibly have somebody who's interested, but I need to get some information from you first. If you can please call me back as soon as possible. My cell number is yada, yada, yada. So what's great about that dialogue is it teases people like, well, what important information you have or that you could possibly have, or what do you need from me? So it creates a lot of questions and for people to take action. So that's the dialogue right there. I'm going to see about going to the Power Program website, but go ahead, Julie. So I want to show where that dialogue is. But while I'm doing that, Julie, you can ask the next question.
Perfect. Suzanne wants to know, a lot of FSBOs in our area are on the Do Not Call registry. How do I get those listings?
Yeah, so that question, here's what I'm going to tell you, gang, is I'm going to give you the short version of the answer. Usually I have to pepper it with, what the board says, what NAR says, and you're broke. Like I've got to soft step it, and I'm not, for time management sake, I'm just going to tell you. The answer is, if somebody is on the do not call list and they're a FSBO, you 100% legally can call them without any problem whatsoever. So if anybody tells you anything different, I don't even care if it's an attorney, they're wrong. Okay. So, and I'm not going to get into why that is because we don't have time, but if you're a power agent, we'll talk about it Monday. Ask me the question again, email me in advance, and then I can spend more time on explaining to you the legal reason why it's okay to call a FSBO. Next
and
question.
There's webinars on demand that are specific to FSBOs and expireds, and you cover that in detail in those webinars as well.
Yeah, if you want, let me see if I can just find it. So you can see the website right now, right, Julie?
Yep, sure can.
Yeah, so it's not going to be that way. It's better to find in the webinars on demand. So when you're on this page, I'm not going to take time to find it, but when you're on the webinars on demand page, somewhere in here, there is the FSBO. Oh, here it is. There you go. How to become a listing machine with FSBOs and expireds. So that one, it'll explain it. Also, the top 10 prospecting scripts. I go through the FSBO dialogue and also the answering machine dialogue that I just demonstrated for sale owners. That's there. And one other place I'm going to show you where it is. If I go to Classroom and I go to prospecting. So here I am prospecting. When you go to prospecting, it's alphabetical. So you think dialogue begins with D. You'll see dialogue and expired dialogue, expired voicemail. Where's the FSBO? FSBO dialogue, FSBO voicemail dialogue. That's the one I just demonstrated. But there's also calling old FSBOs, new listing in the area dialogue, farm dialogue, open house dialogue, following up after open house. So all the dialogue is in that prospecting area.
Everything you need.
Everything you need. Next question.
Back to that FSBO question of you covered what to say on the voicemail, but what do you say when they call you back? How do you handle that?
Yeah, they're not going to. So here's what happens when they call you back. They don't say what important information you have. You say you have somebody by, or what do you need? That never happens. What happens when they hear your voicemail, Julie, I can hear my echoing. What happens is, so whoever has, I can hear myself echoing. So whoever has their mic on should probably turn it off. So what happens is when they call you back after that message, they'll just say, yeah, hi, I'm calling because you called me. I'm returning your call. And then you would just pick up the FSBO dialogue, which is a whole other webinar. Yes, the reason I'm calling is I noticed your ad. I was wondering where your worker say property. So you are trying to do it on your own. I look at a copy of the ad. The house looks really nice. Let me ask you, where you folks moved and why there? We need to get to buy. Let me ask you, how to buy. Will pay your price? Can we work together? Anyway, there's a whole dialogue and there's a whole webinar just on that conversation.
And it goes slower than that in the webinar.
And it goes slower than that. I spent a whole hour. Actually, it's a whole hour on the FSBO and expired dialogue. I break it down line by line so you understand the psychology behind the dialogue. Because my dialogue, the Radix will tell you, people in the industry will say, Darryl's FSBO dialogue is the best in the industry. Those of you who don't know, we actually, when I do live events, I call live from the stage. Agents bring FSBOs and I call live with my dialogue, and it's pretty cool. And anyway, so I'm just telling you, it's really good dialogue. Next question.
I love it. Deborah just signed up. Yay, Deborah, welcome.
Congratulations, Deborah. I'm sorry for the tech glitch today, gang. So that happened. When you do webinars every week, we haven't had a glitch, I think, Julie, in months. That was the first one in a long time. Next question.
Very cool. What if you don't have a lot of experience as a realtor? How do you sell experience?
Yeah, so you don't sell experience. You sell your company. You sell your marketing system. Homeowners will never ask you how long you've been in real estate unless they smell that insecurity. If you practice, drill, and rehearse, and you're really good on your listing appointment, you have that confidence, and you show, here's what I'm going to do. Like if you ooze that confidence, they don't even ask. So that overshadows it. That's number one. Number two is if you don't have that confidence and you're worried about getting a then what you can do is on your first few appointments is go with an experienced agent in your company and do appointments together until you feel like confident. You've gotten a couple listings on your belt. So what you should then focus on is mastering the telephone and getting really good on that, getting the appointments, and then bringing another agent with you.
I love it. Hadar asks, will you use an analogy over the phone when looking to set an appointment?
Oh, Hadar, that's a great question, Hadar. And hi, by the way, Hadar. It depends on how that conversation goes, right? So, that's such a great question. So here's how I'll answer that, right? If you're learning, I'm going to answer it with an analogy. So if you're learning to play the piano, you are taught basic keys and how to read and etc. Right? So you learn how to read the music. You can almost say the music notes and is the script to play that song. Now, once you've mastered that, then you can start to add your own personality to it. You change the tempo. You throw in some extra keys or some extra bars even, or extra notes, I should say. So you start to make the song your own. And that's true when it comes to calling a FSBO as well. You learn the script that I've given you, the basics. And then if that homeowner stays on the phone with you and there's some dialogue and you're going back and forth, then you might discover an appropriate analogy to use in the moment. Okay. So I hope
on that note, Darryl, can you talk about the 60-second hump?
Yes, but you know what? Being that they're not asking that, Julie, let's actually take that time to show the website. So if you have any more questions, why don't you write your question there? But while I have you and while we're waiting for those questions, I just want to show you guys about this customization part that we talked about. I'm in the farming tab, and I just want you to see this is just the farming section, and there is so much content. It would cost you more than $47 a month for probably 10 years to have somebody create all of this content for you. Now, let's just look at the expired letter number 7. So I just clicked on that. And what happens is that's a Word document, and it's opening up on my other monitor. Let me just share my screen like this. Give me 1 second. And then if I enable editing. So now as a power agent, what I can do, if let's say I don't like that paragraph the way it was written, watch what happens. Bing, I just deleted it. So you can customize. That's the Word document. Let me show you something else. Let me go up to the Sellopoly as an example. And because I showed you that earlier today. So when I open up the Sellopoly, then I can put in there my contact information. You see how I'm moving this? So this is where I can put Darryl Davis, blah, blah, blah. But let's say you don't like what we designed. You could actually edit that too. Like if you don't like verify or whatever that is, watch what I'm going to do. I can take that and write something else in there. I can edit the words here. So almost everything on the website that is something that you would give to a buyer or to a seller, you can customize it. Now, when it comes to the dialogue for calling FSBOs or expireds, you know, that you wouldn't give to a homeowner, so that you don't customize. So, but anyway, that's an example there. Julie, you have a new question? Yep.
What time are the coaching calls?
The coaching calls are 11 o'clock Eastern time. And then what happens, so I'm going to go to coaching call, and the phone number to call and the link is there. So that's the first thing. We record the calls and then we post it on the site so you can listen to it later. So you can see like this one here is almost 2 hours. You can actually click on the Google link or the Outlook to put it in your schedule for yourself. But yeah, we record the Monday calls. They usually go from 11 o'clock. They're supposed to stop at 12 and they don't. They usually go to 1 o'clock. So that's that question.
Judy says she sends out the newsletter. Would it be good to list on the back of the letter how I serve you and let them know what I do for them?
Judy, that's a great question. Judy, what you can do if you want to try that, Judy, and then post that in the Facebook group and tag Julie and we'll critique it. So let me see what it looks like, okay? So what I just talked about, gang, is here's the Power Agent Closed group. And you'll see Lillian's looking for someone who works in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. And this is the announcement of today's training session. So this is our Facebook closed group. So what you can do, Judy, is post it in here and let me see what it looks like. And Julie and I will critique it. And if you tag us, then I'll be notified that you posted it. Okay. Next question.
Jasmine wants to know if you can cancel anytime.
Yes, Jasmine. Our company, there's a couple of things. First of all, we have this awesome chat there. And here's how our chat system works. First of all, it's not robotic. Now, I will be honest, we were thinking about adding, like if you have a question about where something is, that the auto robot can answer quicker for you. But it's still a human being will pick it up. So right now, if I were to write a conversation, send a message, right now, 3 team members are online right now, like they'll answer it. One of them. So if somebody asks about billing, like we know, like so-and-so is better to handle billing. If somebody's like, where is it on the website? Then that would be, Sarah would probably be the person for that. So whoever is the best one to take care of your question gets answered. And I know, Jasmine, I'm coming back to your question. So our program is month to month, so you can cancel anytime. So all you'd have to do is I want to cancel, and bing, we will cancel you. Okay, you're done. So, so there's no long-term contract. You're good. And Sarah's going to answer me now. I can see her chatting away, right? Okay, come on, Sarah. Listen, Sarah, it better be funny, Sarah. The pressure's on. What's the next question while we wait for Sarah's answer to me canceling my number?
Well, actually, while we're on that, we just had a question. How do we rejoin if we were a past? And you would do that on that chat as well. Sarah and Gail will get with you and help you. You've got quite a few people that are coming back, so that's neat.
Yes, if you are, I think we'll all be in trouble, Darryl, if you canceled. Yeah, that's funny. See, she's a funny girl. Yeah, if you're an old you're a previous power agent and you want to restart up again, the best way to do that is because our system won't let you join again at the $5 trial because you already had a trial. So, and the system will know that. So what you'll want to do is just send a message to the chat, and that's how we'll get you reactivated. Next question.
Perfect. Julie says, I know there is a newsletter in the Power Builder. Is there another newsletter? Is it for us agents or us to send our buyers and sellers? Thanks in advance. So
yeah,
we do have news.
Yeah, we do. I'm going to show you the newsletter. I'm going to go back to, this is the dashboard. Let me show you, Julie, where those newsletters are.
Perfect.
So if you go to Classroom and you go to Farming, Self-Promotion, and Mailings, right? And if you, again, it's alphabetical. So if you just think logically, where would newsletter be? Well, it probably starts with the word newsletter, right? So I'm going to go down to the ends, which is going to be a lot. So give me a second while I get down there. And this computer has to get caught up. You will see newsletter, and then it's sorted alphabetical from there. So there's a lot of, we pay for the highest server, and but because I scrolled way too fast and there's just so much content, it's still loading, believe it or not. So give me a second here because I want you to see what the newsletters look like. I'm going to just hit a refresh and do it slower this time. All right, Julie, while I'm doing that, is there another question that people have? Or...
Yes. How do we connect with other power agents?
Yes. So hang on with that question now that the newsletter is showing. So
where's June? There's June.
Yeah. So
July.
Yeah. And I see now we're putting the years because I think, yeah, we customize this. But anyway, here's the newsletters. and you'll see just how beautiful they look. Now, once again, this is May, so let's go to June. So when I click on June, it's going to take a while to open, but I'm just going to show you about the customization. So there is a whole year of newsletters, and they're really beautiful. And I got a shout out to Julie. Julie wrote all these. And so here's the June newsletter, and this is where you can put your contact information. But here's something else. If let's say you don't like the baked good beans thing, you can just, you can just take this, and you'll see what I'm doing here is I can move stuff around, and I can edit, and I can delete. So you can actually, if you have better content or something that you want to replace something that we created, you have that ability. It's quite phenomenal, this program and what we have for you guys.
Well, it's nice because you don't have to, right? So it's all done for you.
Exactly.
Awesome. So Julie asked, how do we get those newsletters to our clients? So there's a couple of ways. You'll download it into PowerPoint. You'll add your contact information, Julie, and then you can save it as a PDF and email it. Or you can save it as a PDF and print it. And a lot of our power agents print those and mail them. And we even had a power agent, a few weeks ago, say that she had somebody that she was walking her neighborhood, and somebody came out and said, look, I used I went and cleaned my closets based on your newsletter, drug her in the house and showed her what she had did. So that was really funny.
There's some other training that we have too, in that regard, kind of. We have a tech training section about using a CRM, but also how to use PowerPoint, how to use Canva, how to create landing pages. So some of that is in there too, as well as how to take some of the stuff and customize it so you can use it as mailing pieces.
Very cool. Can you go up to the directory for that last question?
How
to find other power agents?
So before I do that, go to Betty's, because
Betty said, I signed up last week and this is my first webinar, really informative, and I'm super excited to kickstart my business with your tools. Yay!
Yay, Betty. Betty, we're here for you, right? So, I hate companies where you pay and you can't talk to people. So we are very accessible. We're accessible on that chat, Betty. We're accessible. You can call our 800 number that's on the website. You can send an email. So we're like, I will tell you, we're fans of the Disney company, and so we try to pay attention to customer service, I guess is my point, and to serve you guys, and we're on top of it. Now, the directory. So we have, let me go to the best way to get there is, let me go to the dashboard. And if you wanted to look for referral business, right? So we have this dashboard, and then you'll see directory for power agents. So automatically, you will be put into this directory. Now, unfortunately, you'll see some agents are not filling out their profiles, and some are. But I'm going to tell you guys, especially new power agents, you should fill out your directory. If you go to the directory, you go to update my directory profile. I'm going to tell you why you should, because if you're looking for an agent in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania, to refer business to them, you're going to probably refer to a power agent that took the time to fill this out versus one that doesn't even have a photo. And as you can tell, Aaron, he's got a great bio. The languages he speaks is English and real estate. Ha ha ha. So he's obviously a funny guy, and he's got some creds here. Top producer. Quality Service Award. So this is a guy I would refer business to. But here's another reason why you should fill out your profile. Is part of our plan in the company is to promote power agents to consumers. So we're going to make this directory, just the directory, accessible to buyers and sellers, telling them, listen, if you're going to hire an agent in your market, you should consider a power agent because they're a higher quality agent, and here's why, yada, yada. So this is, some people say that their membership is worth just to be in this directory, because we have power agents who are actually referring business back and forth. They're making money. So what else, Julie?
Deidre wants me to repeat how to use the newsletters. So you would just download it, just like Darryl showed you. You could customize that, save it as a PDF and email that. You can save it as a PDF and print it and mail it to your sphere or your neighborhood farm. And you can also save it as a graphic and upload it to your social media. So we'll add a little third way to use them.
So, Deirdre, here's something else. As a power agent, what I recommend that you do is so Monday is our coaching calls, that which is listing and selling. What you're asking would be great to also ask on the onboarding Tuesday. So every Tuesday, Deirdre, we have at 11 o'clock where a Zoom meeting link that you just click on that link and you'll be able to join in. And Deirdre, if you have like that technical question, it could be actually not just taught, but shown to you by a screen share. So make sure you're on the next Tech Tuesday or the Tuesday session, and you'll be able to get that. This is today's webinar. This is next Wednesday's webinar about using the Power Builder CRM, and then we
Thursday.
Sorry, that's Thursday. You're right. That's Thursday. Then we have how to get your offers accepted. That's going to be a Wednesday. What to do now that Zillow is a competing broker. So these are the upcoming training sessions that we have for you guys. What else we got, Julie?
I think we're coming to the end.
Okay. So listen, we're going to, you guys have been so awesome, so patient. Thank you. Sorry again for the tech trouble there. And when I hang up this call, that little floating bar that you see on the screen is going to go away. So make sure you click on it before we end this webinar, which I'm right about to do. And Dale wants to know where you can find the link. Okay, to the onboarding Tuesday. So Dale, let me do that again before you go. Dale, when you log into the Power Program website, you'll see that word that says dashboard. I'm logged in as Sarah, my assistant. So you go to dashboard. This is the portal basically. And where it says webinar registration, when you click on that, webinar registration is all of the trainings, the live training sessions, and you will see the Tuesday training session that you were just asking about. And no registrations required. You just click on that Zoom link right there and you're in, okay? That's on Tuesday at 11 o'clock Eastern time. It's right there, okay? And so that's that question. Going back to what I was just going to end with is that if you're a guest, if you sign up today for that $5, everything that's on the screen will be emailed to you immediately and you get to keep it all. So if you decide to cancel after you get that email, like the next day or the next hour, you get to keep almost $2,000 worth of great content for you. So, boy, you can't lose, I'll tell you that. So there's that. I didn't make this announcement, but I'll say it now, is that we're also helping Feed America. So actually your $5 is going towards Feeding America, 100% of it. So we donate that because we're trying to help with the hunger situation in the U.S. because of the pandemic. So we have a goal to pay for 100,000 meals, and to date, we are at 51,000 and change that we've done so far, and it's all from the $5 Power Agents. So anyway, so you'll be helping feed a family at the same time. Deborah, how you can invite other Power Agents to this webinar. The only way they'll get access to this webinar is they would have to become a Power Agent and then go to, log into the account and get this recording and webinars on demand. So for future webinars, you can just tell them to go to poweragentwebinar.com, poweragentwebinar.com. Okay. Is that it, Julie?
I think so.
Okay. Well, listen, gang, thank you so much for spending your time with us and being here today. Really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe, stay focused, and don't forget to keep smiling. We appreciate you very much here at Power Headquarters and look forward to working with you in the coming weeks. Thanks, everybody.